In today's video, I'll be answering your questions, and at the end of the video, I'll be doing a little frivolous and fun unboxing of something gorgeous that I can't wait to share with you. So grab a cup of something cozy and let's get started. Hello, 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 and welcome to the Wool Needles Hands Midweek Ramble. My name is Taylor and I will be your host. For today's video, I thought it would be fun to do a casual Ask Me Anything that would lead into the unboxing of this item that I have right here that I've been holding on to for a couple of weeks now, saving it for a midweek ramble video or what have you, where I can unbox it and share it with you. It is very pretty, very frivolous and fun, and I really want to do that with you. And I thought a good way to put that into a video would be to front load it with a really fun Ask Me Anything. And so that's what we're going to do today. I asked you guys over on Instagram to shoot me some questions that I could answer here on the Midweek Ramble, and that is exactly what we're going to do today. This is something I've been waiting to do with you guys, and I've never done an Ask Me Anything on the channel or anywhere really, and so I thought this would be a good opportunity. I sent the post out to you guys, and you guys are bringing in lots of really great questions. So I'm excited to get into it. So what I'm going to do is just pull through the questions that I have here, get to as many as I can get to. I know I'm not going to be able to answer all of these in this one video. And then in a future video, I'll bring in some more of these questions because there's some really good ones in here that I would really love to answer. I have a little idea that I might be in the future doing a live Q&A. And if that's the case, I could answer some of these there as well. So that's in the works. But right now I thought that's what we'd do today. So I hope you have, I don't know, a snack or something cozy and that you're comfortable. And let's go ahead and dive into some of these questions. Okay, having never done a Q&A before, you're gonna have to just bear with me. I'm not sure if there's some particular way to do this, but I'm going to read the question to you and the person who sent it with their Instagram username, and then I'm gonna answer it to the best of my abilities. So the first question comes in from .cardigan on Instagram, and the question is, when did you start knitting? This is a question I have answered before, and it's one that I kind of get a kick out of answering because I tease my husband about him being the reason why all of this exists in my life. And I started knitting back in 2009. My husband and I were in Laguna Beach, California on just like a vacation or a trip, and we stopped into this little shop of all sorts of different things. And one of the things that they were selling there was a, it looks like a Slurpee cup. I don't know if you live in the United States, you might be familiar with 7-Eleven and this frozen beverage that they offer called a Slurpee. And it has a plastic cup with a domed lid and a hole in it for a straw. Well, this place that we were visiting was selling a Learn to Knit kit. And it was essentially a Slurpee cup with that domed lid with a skein of yarn and 2 knitting needles sticking out of the top, and then some instructions for knitting a basic garter stitch scarf. I had mentioned prior to this experience that I wanted to learn how to knit. I knew this girl in college who was a knitter, and I thought it was really cool. And I just thought it would be a cool hobby to take up. And at that time, I can't really think of what kind of manual hobby I was really into. I don't think I really had one, which is really crazy to even think of a time in my life like that before knitting. But anyway, that following Christmas, he got me one of those knit kits for Christmas. And from that point forward, it was kind of, that was it. It became an obsession. You probably can appreciate that kind of initial obsession that you have where you just want to get into everything, you want to knit everything, and you just want all of the books and all of the tools and all of the yarn. That was very much me in the beginning. And so from that point, it kind of took over my spare time. I started a blog called The Greenhorn Knitter, and that was where I learned about such individuals as Leslie Friend from A Friend to Knit With and Kristen from Wool and Vine. I started following their blogs, and then it was just kind of from there spiraled into this big thing. So it went from the Greenhorn Knitter to then having an Instagram account when my son was born. After leaving my previous job, my son was born. I needed something to take up the time, so I started a knitting Instagram account, and that was when I really kind of launched myself into the online knitting community, and then the rest is history. So I started in 2009, a year before marrying my husband, and it was a Christmas gift of a Learn to Knit kit that got me started. Okay, this next question comes from Brent, from that Brent on Instagram. Hi, Brent. This says, how do locals feel about the Vegas Strip? Do you go into the city often? So you may or may not know that I live in a town called Henderson, which is in southern Nevada. However, I grew up in Las Vegas, technically speaking. My parents live 15 minutes away from us in Las Vegas. So the Las Vegas Strip, as you might know it, is just downtown from us. It's not even 20 minutes away from our home, because you can pretty much get anywhere in the Las Vegas Valley within 30 to 40 minutes. As for the Las Vegas Strip, how do locals feel about it? I think it's kind of not a love-hate relationship at all. It's more like we love that it's there because we appreciate the boon to our economy. The benefits that we reap from having the strip down there are vast, and so we appreciate it. However, most locals, if you were to ask them, don't spend much time down there. We drove down the strip I want to say 2 weeks ago on a whim, because we were eating dinner with some family kind of in that vicinity, and we thought, like, let's take the kids down the strip. I shot some video thinking that I was going to put it up on Instagram to like show people, and I haven't done that yet. Maybe I'll pop it in here. And that was the first time in a really long time. We tend to stay away because it's so busy down there. It is what it is. It's very touristy, and locals know that there is so much more to Las Vegas and Henderson in terms of things to do and things to see and fun activities to be had and all sorts of things that you can get involved in that just has nothing to do with the Las Vegas Strip. And we as locals embrace that. And I think that that's kind of how we look at it. We like that it's there. We love what it does for our economy, and we'll take advantage of it when we want to do something special or take the kids or the family to go see like a fun show. But other than that, we keep our distance and we let it just be what it is. Okay, this next one is a great question. This is from Jesslyn N. Knits. It says, any tips for tired hands when switching to heavier yarn weight, like from fingering to bulky? Honestly, I think my best tip for this is to just give your hands like some stretches after you finish knitting, no matter what you're knitting with or when you're switching or whatever. Just always stretch out your fingers. And I know there's lots of like hand yoga things that you can do. I don't know any of that. I just stretch out my fingers, like just by doing this kind of stuff. I'm a knuckle cracker, which is really not a good thing to do from what I hear. I know it's horrible, but I do it and I feel like it makes me feel better. I'm not going to recommend that to anybody though, but I always just stretch my hands out. I wiggle my fingers around to get the circulation and blood pumping again. And then I take breaks, especially with bulky weight yarn. I have to take breaks. As a former pretty regular runner of distance, I can tell you that really one of the best pieces of advice when it comes to preventing injury is to take breaks. So that would be my best advice, is if you're knitting on something that's bulky weight, have something going that's not, so that you can take breaks from the more strenuous thing that you're working on to work on the less strenuous thing, or just take a break for a couple of days from knitting altogether if you're noticing that you're experiencing pain and discomfort. Okay, this next question is kind of a question and a comment that just absolutely makes my day. It's from Sweet Gum Spot on Instagram, and it says, have you done any voiceover work? Your voice is so peaceful and relaxing. I found you just before I gave birth to our second, and your videos are what got me through my unmedicated labor. And that is absolutely, that's really cool. I am honored. that just makes my day. Have I done any voiceover work? No. But there was a time not long ago where I thought it would be really cool to read audiobooks. But I have not done any voiceover work, and I truly appreciate that comment. That makes me feel really good. Okay, this next question is from The Boring Knitter, and it says, can you tell us about your educational professional history? Yes, gladly. I don't think I mentioned this enough, and so people don't really know what my background is educationally, professionally speaking. I started my college career in theater because I did theater and speech and debate in high school pretty seriously. And I thought that maybe I wanted to take that, go that route in college, and very quickly changed my major, realizing it just wasn't something I wanted to do in college. I wanted something that when I graduated from college, I had a profession waiting for me that I could kind of rely on. So I changed it to education, which was also another passion of mine, working with children. So I got my education degree and started teaching fourth grade right out of college, and I taught fourth grade for 7 years. And then I got my gifted and talented education endorsement, which allows me to work with kids in the gifted and talented program, which is a form of special education. There's a whole spectrum of special education and kids with special education needs. There's the gifted and talented education, which is on the higher side of the spectrum. However, those needs are still very, very intense. And so I wanted to get my endorsement to work with those kids, to figure out how I could accommodate those kids in the classroom, how I could work with teachers to help accommodate the needs of kids that were considered gifted to highly gifted. And so I did that for 2 years. And then I found out that I was expecting my first, and I knew that when my first was born, I wanted to step away from teaching so that I could be a full-time stay-at-home mom with my first, my oldest son, Angus. And then after about 1.5 to 2 years of being a stay-at-home mom, I realized I needed something else to fulfill me. And that's when I really went full steam ahead into the online knitting community, learning about hand-dyed yarns and the craft behind that, and fell in love with it. And then I took it from there. And finding that I would be able to turn that into a business that could help support my family was what kind of kept that ball rolling. And I've never looked back, and I've been so happy about that decision every day since. It's been difficult and, very, very challenging, but it's very fulfilling, and I'm happy to be at this place in my life, professionally speaking. Funzais, or Funsayez, I'm probably butchering that, but she asked me, will your variegated colorways be coming back? So I am the dyer of Fiber for the People yarn. That is my hand-dyed business that I was speaking about when I answered that last question. And she's asking if I'm going to be bringing back my variegated colorways, for example, the colorway evening. Yes, absolutely. Variegated colorways will be coming back. They will be coming back in small, small collections that will be mixed with solid and tonal colorways. But I will always be offering variegated colorways in some capacity in the Fiber for the People shop. If you want to know more about Fiber for the People, definitely go to fiberforthepeople.com. You can learn a little bit about my update schedules and my update process, or you can go over to fiber.for.the.people on Instagram. All of this is linked down below for you, and you can learn more about that over there. Okay, Cozy May asks me for knitting and crochet book recommendations. I saw this question when I first posed the Ask Me Anything question, and so I grabbed my 4 favorite. Okay, there's so many. Like, there are so many knitting books. Crochet, I mean, this is the one that I like because it's the only one that I've ever really used, and I know that there's more out there. Knitting books, my gosh, like there's so many knitting books that I love, but if I had to choose, these would be the ones I would choose. So the first one, if we're talking crochet, this is kind of my print source for the things and the tips and techniques that I need to know to do crochet, and it's called The Idiot's Guide to Crochet. I love a good idiot's guide. I love a good book for dummies, and you'll see that in just a second with knitting as well. But this is the one that I like to use for crochet. I feel like it just has everything you need with really clear pictures to get you started. I mean, this isn't going to be like the be-all end-all of your crochet experience, but it's just a really good one if you really need something to get you started, or if you just need a reference to go to answer that question or to figure out how to do that one technique. This is a really good one. For knitting, this book I love. It's called The Knitter's Life List. I love a good list. I love looking at things in list form. I'm a bullet point gal. I want something to be laid out for me. I don't want a lot of like literature, right? Like I like to read that for certain things, but if I want to know how to do something, or if I want to get the gist of something, I want a list. I want bullet points. And I feel like this book was written with that type of person in mind. I just love that it kind of condenses everything into list format, or it gives you lots of pictures. So this is a quick kind of pictorial look at different styles of sweaters. For example, sleeveless vest, pullover with saddle shoulders, pullover with a shawl collar, turtleneck, crew neck, you know, things like that. So love this. If you like bullet points, if you like things in list form, if you like books that you can kind of interact with, because there are opportunities in here for you to take notes, this is a good one. This is The Knitter's Life List by Gwen W. Stieg. I will link all of these down below in the description box. Okay, this is the book I learned how to knit with. And when I say I learned how to knit with it, literally I learned how to knit with this book. Not like this book helped me learn how to knit. This book taught me how to knit, because when I was learning how to knit, YouTube wasn't really much of a thing at the time. So knitting tutorials and things like that just weren't really available. I found knitting tutorials online via people's blogs, but even that, it was really far and few between. You couldn't just like Google like how to do a tubular cast on and find like myriad results. It just wasn't that easy. And so I relied on a book, and this was the book that I purchased, and I absolutely devoured it. What sucks, it's so annoying to me, this is not the original copy. So I don't know what I did with the original copy of the book that I used, because that original copy was so beat up. I had highlighter marks, I had pencil marks in the margins, I had things clipped and post-it notes, and I don't know where it is. I gifted the same book to my mom when she was learning how to knit, so I'm borrowing her copy. This is the actual copy. This is what it looks like. I think there's a newer edition now, but I swear by this book. Like I said, I like a good idiot's guide or a book for dummies because they just lay it out in a way that's very clear and easy to understand. If you are just starting out on your knitting journey, or if you feel like you need a refresher, this is an excellent resource to have. I'm telling you, this taught me to knit initially, and I love it. Okay, last but not least is the Vogue Knitting Ultimate Knitting Book. Questions you might have about knitting, chances are you can find an answer in this book. Whether you are a beginner or a veteran, it doesn't matter. It's just a really good one to have. So those are my favorite crochet/knitting books that I have in my personal library. Okay, I get this one a lot. This is from Leah, but I get this question by a lot of people, and it's flattering, and I appreciate it. And they ask me what my favorite lipstick is. Now, I don't get like the favorite lipstick question a lot, but I get a lot of what lipstick are you wearing in this video, or what lip color do you have on? And I think that's so fun. Sorry if there's some of you out there that really just don't care, so I'll just make this quick. But my go-to is by the Honest Beauty Company. This is what it looks like. And it's a tinted lip balm in the blood orange color. Looks like this. Pretty nice. And my second go-to is by the Winky Lux Company. And what is this color? I don't even know what oh. Kiss and Tail. Kiss and Tail. And it looks like this. I don't know if you'll be able to... Yeah, it's like a pink, kind of like a pink color. But these are two really versatile colors in my opinion. I love this blood orange because it's kind of a cherry orange red. And I'm of the opinion that when you really need to pull things together, an orangey red lip can just tie things together. Like on anybody, in my opinion. anybody. All skin tones. I feel like it looks good on everybody. I don't know. I may be wrong, but those are my two favorite. And if you're curious about what I'm wearing in a particular video, chances are it's one of those. Okay, Mama Knitter 4 asked me 2 questions. Wow, she asked me a few different questions, some really good ones too. But she asked me these 2. She says, what time do you get up in the morning and how late do you stay up at night? I am an early riser and I go to bed early. I don't know, I just like going to bed early. If we stay up past 10, I'm like thinking, wow, we really pulled an all-nighter. But when you've got 2 kids and 2 boys that are very just all over the place, in a good way, but sometimes in a way that just makes you a crazy person. You need to get to bed and get some rest. And also I wake up really early. My husband wakes up at 5:10, so he can be ready to go to school. He teaches high school and school starts at 7:10. And so he has to be there in enough time to do what he needs to do in the morning. And I wake up with him. So I'm waking up at 5:10, between 5:10 and 5:20, so that I can come out and have my coffee and relax before my boys need to wake up and I need to get them ready to go to school. So I wake up between 5:10 and 5:20 and I try to get to bed by 9:30, 10 at the very latest. Do you exercise regularly? I walk my big dog, Pepper, twice a day and we walk vigorously and I consider that my exercise. Plus the work that I do with dyeing yarn is very physically labor intensive. Okay, Mama Knitter 4 also asked me if I am a vegetarian. No, I am not a vegetarian. Okay, Jamie Rose Valera on Instagram asked, what do you do on projects you're stumped on? Frog it, let it collect dust, get inspired again. That's a good question because I've been in that position a lot before in the past, and I feel like if I'm stumped on a project and I don't see a way around the issue that doesn't involve frogging it, then I frog it. If it's something that has a very clear-cut solution and it's just a matter of like sitting down and doing it, I might let it collect dust for a while, but not tucked away too far because I want it to be there so I know I need to go and work on it. If the solution is available, but I just don't have any interest in doing what I need to do to fix the problem, I'll frog it. Okay, __pico__dash__ asked me, how long are you going to grow your hair? A bob, a lob, all the way down to your toes? I actually don't know. I'm just kind of letting it go at this point, which is very unlike me. It is very unlike me to get to this point. Usually I get to a point after saying I'm going to let it grow and I chop it back off again to a short pixie and done and dusted. But I'm committed. I'm letting it grow. It's in this weird Timothy Chalamet phase, as I like to say, which is why you might see me wear hats frequently. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I kind of think I'm going to try to get it to a short bob, like maybe like here, and then we'll see from that point how I like it. But I don't know. Well, we shall see. Okay, Artsy Beck asks, now that you're a pro spinner, are you going to start dyeing fiber? I'm sure that what I'm getting into here with going into spinning and all of that is just a big slippery slope to dyeing fiber. So yeah, it's probably in my future. But I'm not going to make any promises right now. I'm just kind of enjoying the process and I'm not putting anything on that or making myself feel like I have to then include fiber in my offerings of Fiber for the People. Not that that was part of the question. I understand the question. And it's a very reasonable question to ask considering my situation. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. But other than that, that's the best answer I've got. Comfy Cozy 2 asks, how do I care for my wrists? I don't do anything for my wrists. And you know, it's funny because the other day I was working on a project and I was thinking, wow, you know, this is making my wrist. It's that baby blanket. If you're watching the podcast, that big, thick blanket, that kind of makes my wrists ache a little bit. And so, like I said with the other question, is I just take breaks and then, you know, roll them out. I have crackly joints, so I can hear them crackling. Roll them out, take breaks, drink lots of water. Yeah, that's pretty much all I do. I don't do anything other, like anything special. You know, yoga, I do a lot of yoga and that's great for your wrists. So, I mean, I guess that would be my answer. But other than that, I don't really do anything special, but I take breaks. That's probably just my best answer for that. Okay, Hattie829 asks, how do you balance knitting with being a parent? That question just popped up. And I'm reading out loud and I'm not really fully prepared to answer. Now, knitting as like a hobby, like sitting down in my comfy chair out there, knitting is not hard to balance in being a parent because you can find opportunities. I wake up really early, like I mentioned. I can sit and knit while I have my coffee in the morning. I knit at night when my kids are in bed. I can knit in the afternoon if I have some time and watching the kids play out front. It's, all these different things. So knitting in itself is not difficult to balance. But I'm thinking what this person might be meaning here is, how do I balance my knitting kind of world, which encapsulates Fiber for the People, Wool Needles Hands, and then my own personal knitting, with being a parent. And I consider Fiber for the People as my business. That's my occupation. Wool Needles Hands is a passion project for me that I strive to be consistent with, and I'm building it into something. And building something like this creatively when you are also a parent to 2 small children and have a family is challenging. And I think the best answer that I have for that currently in this current moment is that I have the time during the day to do the things that I need to do. I have from 8:30 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon where I don't have anybody at home with me, which is nice because I can get work done. It can get lonely sometimes. That's why it's great that I have Pepper with me too. But I would say that planning your day, don't fill it up with too much. If your calendar looks like a rainbow of things that you have going on all the time, you're doing too much. Take breaks when you need breaks. Say no when it's not hell yes. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. I always say that to myself. Don't commit to things that you can't follow through with. And remember, and I think this is like the best advice, and I apologize, I wasn't really prepared to answer this question very well, but I will just say, if it's about being a parent, just remember that your children will not be who they are. They will only be who they are and what they are today. And tomorrow they will be a little bit bigger. And so always kind of keep that in the forefront of your mind. If you find yourself embarking on a journey where you are building something for yourself, for your community that you're a part of, and in my case, the knitting community, because those things that you're building are so important. It's important for your personal fulfillment, and it's not something that you should take lightly. But your family is also very important. If you have a family with children and people who you are, responsible to and for, is to always remember that those people will be different tomorrow, and that time, you can't stop time and you can't slow it down. And so to take advantage of the time while you have it. I started Fiber for the People when my youngest was a baby, before my youngest was born. And so those really early years of babyhood for my youngest, for Ronan, I was so busy building a business, and learning how to balance it all was so difficult. And I went through a lot of hardship and a lot of trials and just really difficult times trying to figure out how to balance it all, and failing miserably sometimes. And I don't have an answer to that question. But what I can say now, now that I have the opportunity, I have time during my day, everything does kind of feel a little bit more balanced, is to take things off your plate that are taking away from your mental health, that are taking away from your family structure, that are getting in the way of allowing you to have balance. If you know what those things are that are tipping the scales, you always know what they are. They're not secret, they're not hidden. If there's something tipping the scales and making you feel off balance and pulling you in directions that you don't feel comfortable going in, you know what they are, and you know that they're the things that need to go first. Get rid of those things, find a way to cut them out, and then evaluate your feeling of balance. Because once you offload those things that you know are tipping your scales, once you eliminate that, you start to feel just automatically more in balance. I don't know, I guess that would be my answer, is knowing when to say no, knowing when to quit something that isn't working for you. And always remembering that your children and your family, their time is passing also, and to absorb it and enjoy it as much as you can, as often as you can. Okay, that's all the questions that I'm going to do for today. That was a lot of fun, and I've got a lot more to answer, so I know I'm going to be doing this again, but I want to open up this box that has been sitting in my office for several days now. I've been waiting to open it, and I'm super excited. So let's go ahead and do this unboxing good and proper. This is a package that came to me from the lovely Jésabelle of JésabelleB. She is a project bag and kind of like knitting bag notions case maker in Canada, and her products are absolutely gorgeous. She does the most amazing work with leather and heavy textiles, and I just love her work, so I'm really excited to open this up. Okay, so this says, "Hi Taylor, I hope you find this unnecessary bag very nice to have, JésabelleB," and that is really sweet. And I'm going to tell you, because I did a video about things that, project bags that are unnecessary but really nice to have. And this was one of her bags was one of those things. And I want to just mention here that this is a project bag that is pricey. It is an investment, but it is very nice to have if you can afford to make the investment in a bag like this that helps to kind of elevate your craft a little. I am not telling you that you need to go buy one of these. I'm just telling you that it's a beautiful bag and it's very nice to have if you are in a position where you can purchase one. These are by JésabelleB. I will be linking to these down below. I cannot wait to open this tissue paper. You guys have no idea. So there's a little sticker on there. So cute. I can't wait. Okay. Oh my Lord. Oh, you guys. I'm going to set the box on the floor. You're going to hear it thunk. There it goes. What? Look at that. How beautiful is that? This is a project bag. It's a larger size project bag that you can wear over your arm and carry your knitting in it. You can knit directly from the bag as you're holding it over your arm. Of course, you have to be careful. Switch arms every once in a while. It can cause fatigue. Somebody pointed that out in the comments of a previous video. If you are vegan, this is genuine leather. And do you know, I'm not 100% sure if she has vegan leather options, but she has other options that are not leather. She has really heavy felted fabric that makes it just such beautiful bags. So definitely check her out because she doesn't just do leather. She has other options as well. But this is such beautiful, supple leather. It smells fantastic. These are the little snaps that you use to hold it over your arm. And you can unsnap it and put your project in it and have it sit kind of like on the table like this. Where's my projects? I gotta put stuff in here. We're gonna put stuff in here, you guys. Okay, hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, I don't have my projects with me right now, so I'm just grabbing a bunch of skeins of fisherman's wool. Oh, you guys, I mean, I wouldn't carry this many like skeins of fisherman's wool in this bag at any given time, but how stinking pretty is this? This has 4 big skeins of Lion Brand fisherman's wool in it right now. And the way that this would work, I wouldn't put that much yarn in this. I mean, it depends on how big of a project. So this is like overkill. And I'm going to read the tag and all that in just a second. But this is kind of what's going on here. So here's the bag. It feels like quality craftsmanship. The leather feels so good. It's not rigid, but it's not too soft, but it's just right. It's nice and supple. It's going to age beautifully. The stitch work is gorgeous. I believe that things like this, they are expensive, they're an investment. You know, not everybody can afford something like this at any given moment, and I completely understand that. If you can, however, it's a great way to elevate your craft a little bit, to kind of just, I don't know, they're just nice things. They're just really nice things, and I love that. It says that this collection was inspired by Jeannette Balduc, my grandmother. She was a redhead and everybody called her La Rouge. She had a great influence in my life. She is the reason I get to live my passion, and it's my way to pay her tribute. This is the tag. I got the tag in my tea. So I apologize. But there's the tag that comes with the bag. It's like the suede side of the leather. Oh, it's so good. Jésabelle, thank you so much for your amazing craftsmanship. This bag is absolutely stunning. The color is just right. I'm going to be transferring my sweater project in here. I don't know if I'm going to put the Franken sweater in here. I think I'm going to be keeping Brandon's sweater for the Break the Curse knit along in here, his Atlas sweater. It is so gorgeous. I absolutely love this. I know she has these in her shop right now, so if you are interested in checking it out, I will link to it down below. But what a gorgeous project bag to elevate your knitting or your crochet or whatever it is that you're working on. It's just stunning. So Jésabelle, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. I absolutely cannot wait to put that sucker to use because She is gorgeous. Thank you to everybody who submitted some questions. I am going to be doing another one of these because I love answering your questions. It's a great way for me to share a little bit more about myself with you, and that means a lot to me. So thank you so much for asking. Thank you so much for taking an interest and for being here to watch today. If you took any value from this video or enjoyed yourself at all, please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe. Click the bell icon so you can be notified anytime I upload new content, which is every Wednesday and every Sunday. And I will see you on Sunday's episode of the podcast. Until then, happy knitting, happy making, happy spinning, happy whatever it is that you're doing. Take care, be well, and I will see you soon. Bye.